Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. If you hadn't noticed, I really dig fantasy, and I really dig video games, and I really dig video games inspired by fantasy that eventually turn into TV series like The Witcher. And I super dig the music surrounding The Witcher. So when I heard that Blind Guardian had written a song called Blood of the Elves, which is, by the way, the title of the third book of the original Witcher book series, I knew I had to cover it. So let's get to it. Woo!
Oh no, it's easy to dispose. In this darkest hour, we're alone.
I'm gonna go back right away. Oh my goodness. I just was not prepared for that sound. I saw this blood, I think, going between the two glasses, and I was thinking, are my headphones turned on? I don't hear sound. And then all of a sudden, wham! Okay, must go back to the top.
Easy to dispose. In this darkest hour, we're alone. From behind closed doors in names swallowed. Magic's reaching out to draw into the eye of the storm. The storm.
I liked the mic toss. That was fun. It sounds like there's a lot of vocal layers in the background. Like a lot. It sounds like a combination of speed metal and epicness, which is really cool. So we're going to go back to the beginning one more time because, oh my goodness, it's such a rush.
Easy to dispose. In this darkest hour, we're alone. From behind closed doors in names swallowed. Magic's reaching out to draw into the eye of the storm.
I want to point out a very specific stylization that they're using here, which makes it feel more jarring and honestly a little bit more like Carmina Burana. Instead of having a beautiful long legato line, which we would hear in a lot of operatic things, we're getting essentially more staccato or accented moments. We're getting ba, 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 ba instead of ba, 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 right? So it's creating explosions of sound within words instead of one big vortex of sound. This is extremely deliberate in the writing, but you can particularly hear it when it slows down a little more.
From behind closed doors in names swallowed. Magic's reaching out to draw into the eye of the.
So on to the eye of the, there are accents on each of these words. So I'm going ba, 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 instead of ba, 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 ba. And it definitely creates a sort of more agitated feeling when you have these accents in the vocal line. A lot of times people don't, I think about the phrasing and various articulations you can have in a vocal line to create certain feelings. And this one is super, super deliberate. All right, let's keep going.
Magic's reaching out to draw into the eye of the storm.
My toss!
The storm. Get her out of the way, she is your destiny. No better hide when chaos breaks loose. Chaos breaking loose. Just take her away, stay silent. Just take her away, no matter the poet lies.
really, really interesting mix of cleans in there and harshes. Hansi, I've heard him in a few other things. He's able to access highs with just a really nice tone. There's strength in it without falling apart or feeling like it's going to crack. It's got beautiful focus on the sound as well. I don't know if that was him doing the harshes too, but I'm going to go back a little bit. Listen to the way he really leans into the S of destiny. Normally we'd linger longer on the vowel, so we'd sing destiny. Instead he goes destiny.
Get her out of the way, she is your destiny. No better hide when chaos breaks loose. Chaos breaking loose. Just take a...
Yeah, I think because we see his mouth moving, I think that's him doing the harshes too. That's really cool. Those are good.
She is your destiny. No better hide when chaos breaks loose. Chaos breaking loose. Just take her away, stay silent. Just take her away, no matter. The poet lied. The poet lied to save her life. Follow the sun. Share our sorrows, clear your mind. Despite the writing on the wall, hope grows from now on. For our brotherhood stands queen. Follow the sun. Love the elves, predestined child.
There are so many vocal layers in here. Man, I'm really curious how many of them are Hansi, how many of them are singers from the band. Did they bring in other people for this? Because wow, that is a lot of vocal layering. It's like they have almost a choir behind them. It's very, very impressive. Wow. I'm going to go back again. I'm trying to wrap my head around all of these vocal parts going at the same time as these incredibly fast blaring instruments at the same time. Oh, it's just a lot of sound. Okay, I'm going to see if I can hone in a little more.
The poet lied to save her life. Follow the sun. Share our sorrows, clear your mind. Despite the writing on the wall, hope grows from now on. For our brotherhood.
It's really interesting. Within here, we have little moments where there's whoa, whoa, or like sort of counter melodies that happen in vocal parts. I also hear a lot of parallel octaves in their writing when we have a melody that we want to really ring out. My guess is that this is done partly to entice an audience. Blind Guardian is really good at like keeping audience involved and helping sing along, et cetera, et cetera. So if you write something in parallel octaves, it's going to appeal to the audience to sing because the melody sticks out more. And also, you have two different octaves to choose from for where it's comfortable to sing in your voice. So that makes it much easier for audience members to sing along.
Despite the writing on the wall, hope grows from now on. For our brotherhood stands queen. Follow the sun. Love the elves, predestined child.
Ooh. That predestined child thing, I think, is probably talking about Siri? Question mark? It's fun. I hear lots of things. By the way, if you noticed earlier when I was holding up, I have a book. This is from the original book series, but this is book 2. It is not book 3, and that's because I'm on book 2 right now. So I'm excited to actually get to book 3 sometime soon. I have watched all of the TV series, though, and played the game as well. So anyhow, very exciting stuff. Nerd culture is so wonderful.
The elves, predestined child. There's danger when everything's at stake here. It follows wherever you may roam.
His highs are so good.
Danger when everything's at stake here. It follows wherever you may roam.
I like the way that he sounds like he has loft in the sound, but also like a little bit of squealo in it, essentially. It has good cut. very, very impressive. And then in the lower part, it sounded like he was really playing with how much distortion he's adding to the sound. Oh, he'd be very interesting to talk to about how to add distortion in a healthy way, because he's been with Blind Guardian since the beginning, which is in the 80s. It's a crazy, crazy long time for a career, especially doing such intense vocals with so much sound behind you. When you have that much sound and drums especially, it can make you want to push as a singer to be heard in these big concerts. And especially if you're doing that before you have in-ears, which I think he might have been. So, oh man, I'm really curious now.
Destined child. There's danger when everything's at stake here. It follows wherever you may roam.
I love the verb on his voice too.
Then at last there's a choice of path. Dedicate yourself to the innocent. All praise to her in glory, gracious Linus Elven Sea.
Ooh, I like the way we had that shift in there. Feels like we're moving into sort of like a new chapter, perhaps. Oh, that was really interesting. Oh, I remember reading somewhere that they were really inspired by Queensryche, and the way that they shifted there reminded me a little bit of Queensryche.
Yourself to the innocent. All praise to her in glory, gracious Linus Elven Sea.
It is amazing how many sources of vocals we have in this. It's crazy. They're so very layered. This must have taken a very long time to produce. Wow. And a lot of the vocals, it's not just the main line that has harmonies or something behind it, but it's also that in the main line, a lot of times he will come back in as if there was no time to take a breath. It just continues to rate through. So it was very likely recorded in separate takes. It's that has got to be so much work to mix and pull all together. Wow. Wow. Right, that's such an awesome harsh vocal underneath. It's going white while he starts to sing that line on top.
White. Black. White wolf, the source inside her. It's not a shallow river. It can't grow wide. It's hard to find. It can't grow wide. We need a queen. Follow the sun.
He almost sounds like he's essentially a light tenor. And if I were to think about just his clean singing, there's a leanness to the sound, a nice clarity, crispness to the sound up there that makes me think of being a light tenor if we were to do something operatic. But then it's so fascinating to hear that leaner sound with these harsh vocals on the side, right? They sound so scary and rar. Is rar an adjective I can use? It's incredibly impressive to me, the juxtaposition of the different sounds he's able to make. And then I just like the way he has so much focus on his sound so that it's able to cut through all of the other sounds.
It can't grow wide. It's hard to find. It can't grow wide. We need a queen. Follow the sun.
That's a really great spot that I was talking about earlier of having those parallel octaves, which makes it easier to sing along. strong. I wonder how strong his calf muscles are. Oh, it looks like there's a little scrape on him, maybe. I just feel that it must be incredibly tiring to play beats like this. Just feels like you're essentially running the whole time. Drummers get amazing cardio workouts, which you can tell by the layers and layers of moisture that is just streaming off their bodies often in concerts. Very, very impressive. Hats off to you, sir, for your endurance. I love that kind of harmony in instrumental solos. I love it. It always makes me feel very video gamey, which makes sense. One of the other parts of this that's really awesome, other than the really cool harmony, is the mic swinging back and forth. There we go. Oh, that bass line is so chromatic. It descends in chromatics, goes up, goes down a little bit, then descends more in chromatics. It's like that, and the re-articulation of it over and over it's intense.
I tell you, consider you are wrong here. I tell you, there's more than meets the eye.
I think it's partly because he approaches this with that more staccato, accented kind of articulation for the vocal line. Partly because of that, we're getting so many words. One of the ways that you can create that effect is by leaning heavily into the initial consonants. It's really, it feels like it's a mouth going whoocha, 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 with every single consonant he's doing.
I tell you, there's more than meets the eye. Your secret rights, floating mouthing, dry tribulations caused by your ignorance. The world it bleeds, ignore its cries, but soon there is a path to dream.
Like, whoa, the layers in this.
Floating mouthing, dry tribulations caused by your ignorance. The world it bleeds, ignore its cries, but soon there is a path to dream.
It's like I heard at least 4 layers in there.
Floating mouthing, dry tribulations caused by your ignorance. The world it bleeds, ignore its cries, but soon there is a path to dream. Follow the sun. Share a silence, feel your mind. Despite the writing on the wall, hope grows from now on. For our brotherhood stands clean. Follow the sun. Love the elves, predestined child.
I think they were using some of the original artwork that went with the game in the background. I'm not sure though. I recognize this from somewhere, but I can't place it. Oh, it looks familiar.
Love the elves, predestined child. The hill will claim you, keep on running.
Keep keep on running. That's what they do a lot.
Your name's engraved, you know it's true. Yes, death has cold blue eyes. Time to die.
Oh.
Yes, death has cold blue eyes. Time to die.
Oh my gosh. I wish that note was longer and just held forever and ever. It's really impressive the way he goes up, the way he's adding that distortion in there without disturbing the source of the phonation, right? So his true vocal folds are going wacka, 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 creating that actual pitch. And then there's an area above that is gurgling or vibrating in some fashion and creating distortion on top of the pitch. And you can hear that top pitch is really, really clean. And then it has a very steady sound of distortion on top of it.
Yes, death has cold blue eyes. Time to die.
And also massive respect, because singing high notes usually means that a person is building up more tension in their throat. A lot of times you see more vocal problems surrounding high notes because of the way that you have to navigate tension and sort of learn how to sing without as much tension or learn how to manage it better. So if you think about Hansi, he sings high a lot, but this is very high. And you're adding distortion. So that's going to be another area in the throat where there's some necessary tension to keep those essentially like fleshy flaps are coming together. So in order to engage that and engage the voice as well, there's lots of different areas that are engaging, but he must not have that much tension or he wouldn't have been able to do this since the 80s.
Yes, death has cold blue eyes. Time to die.
Wow. Oh, it's done? This song was really intense the whole time. It didn't let up. And I like the way that Hansi's voice is able to match that without sounding like it's going to fall apart. Having those incredible high notes and the ability to add distortion, it's very clear that he's got some solid technique going on. That's very exciting for me to hear. If you'd like to hear other times that I've analyzed Hansi's voice, among others, you can check out this playlist over here. And may you fall more in love with music every day.